Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's finally time for another Snare of the Month video. I'm not done, and this time I present my Pearl Masters Birch Snare. I bought this used from the internet a couple of years ago. Actually, I don't know when I bought it. I don't know from who I bought it. And I don't know what it cost me. I have no idea, but it's been around for some time. And in the beginning, I actually really loved it. I used it all the time. And then when I joined the rock band Meinfeld, I needed a snare to stay with them in South Tyrol. The band is South Tyrolean based, so that's in Italy. For all of you non-Europeans who don't know what South Tyrol is, you should know. And I needed a whole own Meinfeld rig of gear that just stayed there in Italy so that they can just throw it into the tour bus and take it to the gigs. And I left my beloved Yamaha Birch Custom Absolute drum kit. I left that in South Tyrol and I needed a snare to match that. And at that time, I couldn't really part with one of my beloved Yamaha snares for a longer duration of time. So I decided to throw this snare in because, first of all, it's birch. So I thought this would kind of match the birch kit. And second of all, it is a perfect snare for rock, loud rock music. It has heavy die-cast hoops. It is a bit, deeper than my usual, 14x5 or something snares. So that was the drum I used through my entire year with Meinfeld, and I always loved it. It never disappointed me. It always sounded great. It's a great drum. And then actually I got it back and I just put it on the shelf and never really played it. But now I decided it's finally time to dedicate a Snare of the Month video to this snare drum. So I put it back on the kit and played it, and I really, re-fell, is that a word? I re-fell in love with this snare drum because it's great. And as I've said, it's a rock drum, perfectly suited for rock music, but also, what I didn't consider before, a pearl wood snare drum in that kind of diameter and, depth with those beautiful Pearl Mastercraft die-cast hoops actually also brings guys like Dennis Chambers or also Gary Husband to mind. This is a very Dennis Chambery kind of snare. This drum, again, as most of my snare drums in my collection, is again discontinued. Right now, Pearl does not make a Masters Birch snare drum anymore. They make like the Masters Maple, the Masters Maple Gum snare drum, possibly also some other kinds of woods or combinations. But there is no Masters Birch snare drum anymore. Why? I can't answer you that. I'm not a Pearl guy. I have no idea. It sounds beautiful. Maybe they thought the maple sounds even a bit better. But here it says all birch shell. And it also says SST, Superior Shell Technology, if you can see that. Don't ask me what this means in detail, because again, I'm not a Pearl guy, but I Googled it and apparently it has to do something with the way they build the shell. At Pearl, you know, the way they build probably all of their shells, or at least their high-end shells, with a special, you know, pressure thing, and the selection of the woods goes into that also, and this is just the way they build shells. Inside there is the serial number, and again, like a badge, a sticker. Don't know if you can see this. If you can see past the toilet paper. It's not really thin, but it's also not really thick. It's like a medium birch shell, I would say. It has, I would say, from the naked eye, it has very extreme snare beds. You know, they are really cut out, more than on most of my other drums, I would say. I don't know if you can see this, but the snare beds are really, you know, carved into the drum. It has the Pearl snare wires. The standard, I would say that's 20 strands by the look of it. They are great, always sound great. Good snare wires. And it has the die cast, the heavy die cast hoop, the Pearl Master Cast hoop, top and bottom, it's the same hoop. And if you are a regular viewer of my channel, you will definitely have heard me say that I don't really like heavy die cast hoops. You might have heard me say things like, I really like the Yamaha aluminum die cast tubes because they are aluminum and much lighter. I also like triple flange tubes, but I don't really like heavy die cast tubes. Well, maybe I'm getting older and more mature, or maybe it's just this snare drum, but man, the heavy die cast tubes, and they're really heavy, they're really clunky, they sound phenomenal on this drum. You know, I always say the biggest consistency in my taste is change. I really love one piece of equipment and hate the other, and a year later it might be the other way around. Right now, I don't really like triple flange tubes that much anymore. On some drums they work great, no problem. But right now I'm really more a die-cast fan, but still preferring the aluminum Yamaha die-cast tubes that will probably always stay my favorite hoops of all time. But as I've said, I'm really starting to like the heavy hoop, especially on this drum, or maybe only on this drum, I don't know. But it gives me this, I'm gonna just say it again, it gives me this Dennis Chambers crack and attack. Just that, yeah, that Pearl snare drum sound. You know, the throw-off is nothing special, but works very well, in contrast to some other throw-offs from some other snares you might have heard me talk about. So yeah, and the lugs, you know, they actually make like minimal contact. They are hollow, you know, they don't go all the way through on the shell. And then also the piano black finish that was actually invented by Yamaha. I believe, at least I've heard Yamaha were the first guys to paint a drum set in piano black, because they just used the piano black lacquer from their black pianos. That's why it's called that. So a Yamaha invention, but sure also looks great on this Pearl snare drum. You can't really go wrong with a piano black finish. It's a beautiful drum. The Pearl Masters line is, I would say, like a high mid-tier line. Right now the current models cost between like 500 and 700 euros. So it's not a 1,000 or 1,200 euro snare drum, which unfortunately nowadays seems to be the price for like the high-end top-tier snare drums, but that's mostly like signature snare drums. So for example, with Yamaha, the most expensive snare drums cost 600 or 700 euros. That would be the Absolute Hybrid Maple drum and the Recording Custom drums. So it's right in that price range of the Recording Custom, a bit more expensive, I would say, but then again, the Birch drum is discontinued, so I actually have no idea what this cost back in the day. I don't even remember what I paid for it. So, but I'm glad it's here. Head-wise, this is a fairly new. It's just a couple of playing days old. As always, Remo Ambassador snare side on the snare side, and as always, Remo Ambassador coated on the top, which is also quite new. It looks disgusting. I don't really know what happened. Just believe me when I say my drumsticks were a bit dirty for whatever reason, and then I played some brushes on it, and then this happened. It's not new. I did not put it on today, but I put it on a couple of days ago. So this is not, despite what it looks like, it's not old. I really had fun making this video, playing that snare drum again, and I hope you will enjoy it too. I, as always, go through all the various tunings from very low to very high with different kinds of muffling. This time I did the muffling demonstrations a bit different. Normally I choose like the same amount and types of muffling for every tuning. This time, and I believe from now on, that's the way I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna choose various types of muffling depending on what just fits the drum at its momentary tuning. So yeah, but it's different tunings, different mufflings, different styles. that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. If you like what I do here, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do a lot of different stuff here, you know, gear, lessons, live clips, everything. If you're interested in a 17 episode and completely free course on hand technique, check it out right here. This is my latest video, and this is a video the algorithm, the YouTube AI, chose especially for you. So it's not my fault. Stop complaining. Thanks so much, and I'll see you again soon.